being a plumber, a service plumber. Some people are like, how do you deal with all the nasty stuff? But honestly, it's more fun for me than being in a super controlled, sterile.
Please welcome America's service sales coach, Joe Crisara.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast, the show that helps home service professionals master high-value sales, build stronger client relationships, and grow their business like never before. Join industry experts as they share real strategies that drive results. If you're ready to level up your service game, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
It's the Service MVP Podcast.
Thank you for listening and watching the Service MVP Podcast. I want to give you a copy of my free book. Just click on the link below in the description and one will be sent to you from me personally. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Service MVP Podcast. We are here again with another amazing episode, and this one I'm really excited about. Today we have Hanna from Clear Choice Plumbing. We are very excited to have Hanna. Hanna is actually going through our Total Immersion program right now, so we are lucky enough to be able to pull her from that for a little bit, hopefully not for too long, keep you from the Total Immersion experience, but I'm very excited to have you in here and sort of learn a little bit more about your experience, your expertise, and just have a great conversation. So Hanna, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been in the industry since COVID. I like to say I'm a COVID plumber. I lost my job in the hospitality industry when everything went south with the pandemic, and I just was dating a carpenter who was getting his red seal. That's what we call kind of the masters in Canada. And I was like, you know what, maybe I could get a red seal. And so that kind of propelled me into looking into the trades.
Yeah. So that was kind of what got you started there. What kept you there? You know, that I can see where the beginning started, but what was it that really kept you and keeps drawing you in?
Yeah, well, I used to kind of go to the same place every day and do the same exact things every day, use the same exact script and handle the same kinds of problems. I worked at the front desk of a hotel, and I didn't know it then, but I was just very bored and very anxious, like kind of people-pleasing and not really feeling like I had any control. But now I'm just, in my own plumbing van, and like I've learned so many skills that have empowered me. And of course, my earning potential has wildly increased from like my maximum earning potential in hospitality, even at like the best hotel in town. So
was that kind of the moment that when we're talking about the earning potential, was that kind of the moment for you that you realized that this was more than just I don't want to call it like a replacement or an update during COVID, but like, is that when you realized, oh, this is, what I'm locking into?
Yeah. It's more fun. It's just being a plumber, a service plumber. Some people are like, how do you deal with all the nasty stuff? But honestly, it's more fun for me than being in a super controlled, sterile environment all the time and just being bored half to death.
For sure. Is that like kind of the biggest shift that you've experienced coming from what was not in the trades to something in the trades? Is that kind of the biggest shift that you experienced? What were some of those major shifts for you?
Confidence. Yeah. Confidence. My mental health actually improved as well, because I feel like I'm working with my body, and I was just standing in one place, like going with the flow. And,
definitely more active,
I definitely felt like a bit of a turd at that time. I was like not in a good space, and I feel so much more robust as a whole human now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one of the things that I want to hear about is coming in here and doing this show, we talk to a lot of owners, a lot of people on the leadership team, a lot of people on the sales side of things. So I always think it's a great treat when we get to talk to a technician, someone who's actually out there and putting their hands to work and actually doing that kind of stuff. I want to hear about what is a really memorable service call that you've gone on. I know a lot of people have some crazy stories of a crazy customer or a crazy job that you've come across. What comes to mind when I say the craziest job that you've ever come across?
Well, the first thing I was thinking of when you mentioned that was this lady who I didn't work for a company at the time that was using Service MVP. It was very much more on the restoration side. But as a technician, I was sent there to fix a rat chew. You know, they had a rat stuck in their ceiling or their wall cavity, and it kept eating the pipes, maybe because it was thirsty. So I was there not one, not two, but I think 3 different times for repairs in 3 separate areas. And looking back on it now, I just can't help but think, like, if the company was structured different, like, what we could have done at that time. Like, if we had been able to come up with a solution, you know, from the get-go. It was kind of awkward because it's like insurance and everything like that. But, you know, just to have to keep coming and invading their space and opening up more drywall and you know, having more flooding and more moisture risk. It's just, I felt so bad for them. And honestly, bad for the rat, too. It was stuck in there. I don't know how it got in there and why it couldn't get out, but it was terrorizing them.
No, for sure. What ended up being the solution for you guys? What resolution came about from that?
Yeah, we were just doing spot Band-Aid repairs. Like, I had to break open the tiles in their shower. They chewed a line behind the tile shower surround, and like there's drywall mess everywhere. And, you know, just couldn't at that time provide better customer service. But
sure.
I was just kind of doing what I was told because I wasn't a full journey person yet, and just getting sent to these restoration insurance type jobs.
For sure.
But I wish it had gone easier for them.
So, talking about like those kind of difficult situations and difficult people to deal with, did you find that you were faced with more out of the ordinary and strange situations like what you were just talking about now, once you started plumbing or on your job previously? Because I can also imagine in hospitality, you probably come across some crazy people who are just out of their minds and don't know exactly what they want or even how to talk to another human being. What has kind of been your experience on both sides of those?
Well, I feel like on the plumbing side, it's easier because you feel like, you're the expert providing solutions. When you're working in a hotel, it's like the customer is always right, and like they're trying to tell you exactly what they want and what they believe that they've paid for and what they feel you've done wrong. And I think in plumbing, like, you're there to tell them kind of what you think that they need, present those solutions for the problems that you find. So I think it was definitely more difficult in hospitality.
Well, I think that's one of the beauties of a profession, especially like plumbing, where you can go to the customer and you can tell them definitively, no, you're wrong. This is what is actually happening with your system. And, maybe not being that blunt all the time, but there is a little bit of beauty in that honesty of being able to diagnose a system and say, hey, this is what's actually wrong. This is what's actually happening. And it's not necessarily up to the subjective experience of the exact thing that the customer experienced. So I want to know, obviously you're doing Total Immersion right now. And so you're learning a lot about diagnosing the entire system. You are learning about pure motives. You're learning about being able to walk a customer through options and all of that stuff. Previous to Service MVP, did you have any sort of sales-based training when it comes to the trades?
Not really. I wasn't even that good at upselling, like hotel rooms. I was fortunate actually to have had the opportunity to work with the Clear Choice just about a year and a half ago. And then it was like a half a year into my role there that we began with Service MVP. So I wasn't even in my own van with that company yet because they do a lot of nice training. So I was still working with one of our lead technicians, and I was able to basically start with the process, and I feel like I would have been doing much worse from the get-go if I hadn't had that kind of structure, because I had no idea.
For sure.
I still have no idea, but I'm trying.
Mean, it's always a learning process. So it's always kind of keeping that mentality of learning. Was that, a lot of, I know people come into the trades who didn't come from anything as specific as hospitality necessarily. Is, you either started working with your hands when you were super young. A lot of people, especially we have people coming here who, their dad was a plumber or an electrician, and that's how they get into the trades. Did you find that there was any specific like advantages or disadvantages that you were coming across coming from an entirely different space?
Well, honestly, I think that's why I was hired. I think maybe there was like some other candidates, but they decided to go with me because of that customer service that I already had built in.
Gotcha.
So I feel like it's like you can teach the skills, but the soft skills are a little bit harder to reinforce, especially if someone's already set in their way. So I started with good customer service, and now I'm doing high quality, reliable work as well.
Nice.
But
most people, I will say, do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I was just in here talking to Donald earlier, and we were talking about how he started with learn everything I possibly can about plumbing first. Learn all of the technical, learn all of that stuff. And all of the customer service was completely I can't even say it was on the back burner. It was like, it wasn't even on the stove. It was, it was something that he had only just thought about like years after he actually started plumbing. So it's interesting to hear that you came at it from the opposite perspective. Are there any things that you've noticed with plumbers and the trade so far that you think a lot of plumbers can learn from hospitality work?
Yeah. Specifically with this program, I think that I find a magic moment to be much more natural.
Yeah.
Much easier because I'm used to maybe like schmoozing with the customers in the luxury high-end hotel. You want to say nice things about them. You want to make their esteem higher. You want them to feel like the staff that's working at the hotel values them as a customer and make sure they have a nice stay. So I feel like that came a lot easier to me, where I saw my team really struggling with it and finding it super awkward.
Gotcha. Yeah, that kind of, it's almost that fine line where you're in a certain sense forcing a genuine moment, and you got to ride that line. So I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here. I know you are currently going through Total Immersion, but for everyone who's listening to this who might not know what a magic moment is, can you just break down real quick, what is a magic moment from what you've learned so far?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes in 4 parts. You start by, asking if you could mention something, asking permission to say something. You praise the effort that you're seeing, or, share gratitude for some kind of quality about that person that you admire, to do with their family, their work, whatever. You can pull it from a lot of things. And when you're done that, you say how it makes you feel. You say, it just makes me feel really good to work for someone like that. So, and then you share gratitude at the end to wrap it all up with a nice bow. You say, thank you so much for making me feel that way, for making me feel good today.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I want to know from your perspective, especially coming from, like I said, the opposite way of what a lot of other people learn is technical first and then how to work with a customer. Coming from that perspective where it's like we're talking about the exact opposite, where it's the technical versus the customer service. When you're talking with a customer, practically, what does that look like for an end result? Like, what's the benefit for you and what's the benefit for the customer if you have a genuine and honest, nice interaction? Like, why not just show up, get the job done, and leave, with a straight face? What is the actual benefit of that?
Well, it's raising their esteem to help make them feel like they deserve more valuable work, like that they're worth it. And also, it creates like this halo effect of you. It like makes you memorable, makes them feel good, makes you feel good when you do it. Yeah. That's a side effect. And then, hopefully that's generating like repeat customers as well. Like, they're like, oh, wow, like that person was so nice. I don't even know why I like them so much. Yep. So like, I'm definitely calling them back.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because that's a lot of what people talk about is using magic moments, because a magic moment feels good and the customer gets to feel good. But I love that you said that, because practically also, they're going to be a repeat customer. They're probably going to be paying you more in the future. The
Probably
company's
nicer.
probably going to be making more money from it. So it's like, yeah, we go, it does make everyone feel good, but it almost seems like people are also afraid to talk about no, they're going to call us back. They liked having us there. So we're all going to be making more money, and we're going to be providing a better service for the customer at the end. So I love that. I want to know, so far in your career with plumbing, what has been like the biggest mistake that you've made so far? I want to know what that biggest mistake is and how you overcame that.
The biggest mistake? Well, what felt like the biggest mistake for me, it wasn't all that bad actually, because it was like under a house and it was like a dirt floor, but I cut into a live water line because I misinterpreted the direction of flow.
Oh, gotcha.
And there was no main shutoff because it was like a mobile home. And a lot of times they just don't have them.
Yeah.
So it was like a plastic poly pipe, and I cut into it partially with my pipe cutters.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what do I do? Because I hadn't experienced that yet, and I didn't have the stuff that I would need to like do an emergency repair ready.
Yeah.
So I like had to like wrap it with a garbage bag to try to not let the flow spray up into the insulation, and like hope that it stayed like that and didn't wash away, and like didn't like wash away the structure of their foundation or
Oh God.
it wound up being okay, but
Okay, so it ended up getting fixed.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Gotcha.
But I was very stressed.
I'm sure, and that's one of those situations, I'm sure, not a mistake you'll make lightly again. You know, that will probably be something that you'll learn from, I would hope.
Yeah. Even my apprentice now, I'm like, did you make sure you let off the pressure after you shut off the water? Did you confirm that the water is off?
Yeah, that gets added to the checklist immediately. Yeah,
for sure.
I love that. So over the last couple of years, what I know we talk a lot about the like different technologies that have been coming into the industry. There's a lot of AI tools that are coming out now to help technicians and all of that. Like one that we work with is Rilla, and there's just like so much happening all the time, and it seems like every day there's something new coming out, or an adjustment to a program, or any number of things that you have access to. And you know, every once in a while I'll take a look at our Instagram or, you know, Facebook profile or wherever it is, and go through all of these groups and just see it's constant like advertising and marketing of like, hey, we've got a brand new product for techs, we've got a brand new service for leadership. But for you, what has been like the best sort of emerging technology, or what has been like kind of one of the greater goods for your services?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I really like those automatic copper cutters.
Yeah.
The battery powered copper cutters. It saves the risks. Like, I didn't start plumbing as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I started at 27, and I'm already 32. So it's like, if I want to plumb until I'm 40, like, I want to do everything I can now to save my body, not just work myself to death.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people do that. Is that like an important goal for you, is to be able to do plumbing, but then also to be able to do it sustainably for your own body so that you're able to do it for longer? Is that something within your goals?
No one wants to destroy themselves, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd be surprised. No one wants to destroy themselves, but I'm sure you've seen there's a lot of people who don't take the necessary steps to ensure that they're, you know, are you coming across that a lot with your company? Or like there's areas for people to take care of themselves a little bit better?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's something so simple as like having pants that you can put knee pads inside of. So you're just always wearing knee pads, and you don't have to remember to put them on when you go to kneel down under a sink or something.
Yeah.
So you're not constantly just grinding your knees down. You know, wearing gloves to protect you from those chemicals so you don't wind up with like skin cancer when you're 62.
Yeah.
I think that that's important to try to do every time, like even if you think it wastes time and isn't important in the moment, or like you're just wanting to get the job done and rush through it. It's just like, I definitely am a promoter of like, take the time to do what you need before you start, and like get as organized as possible and protect yourself as much as possible. Protect the customer's home as much as possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, on top of your own, you know, your own body safety, I think that's huge. And it's like, we're not in the industry, we're not seeing a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-olds thinking that far ahead in their career of, hey, take the extra 3 seconds to put on the gloves so that 30 years down the line I'm not experiencing, the things that you just mentioned. I think that's huge, and to take those extra couple of minutes. As someone who, like you said, it was in an entirely different career, what would you say to those people who are just getting started in the trades, who are 18, 19, 20 years old, just starting at a brand new company? What are some things that you can say to them for creating a long-lasting career in the trades?
I would say probably like to make it more sustainable, like don't focus on working yourself to death right off the get-go. It's okay to take your time and learn things, and to not work a ton of overtime. Something like this program is great if you can study up on how to maximize, make your jobs more efficient. So you're making more money at each job.
Yeah.
And you're not having to go to 10 jobs because you're making it back, and you can take your time more and do quality work.
The quality of work, I think, is the big thing there. For sure. Yeah.
If you're taking pride in your work as well from the get-go, even when you're just learning, even if it takes longer, that's going to make you more memorable in the field and more retainable by a company. You don't want to get callbacks for your work, and you don't want the customers to think, wow, does that really look like it was done by a professional?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're starting to get into the territory of talking about, someone who's just joining the trades. And the other side of that coin is the leadership. You talked about you have an apprentice. What are you taking for your apprentice that, what are some of the tenets that you are using to teach that you find important in leadership?
For me, the big one is, having a leader that is willing to be patient with you. Yeah. It's so easy to forget when you've been doing it for 25 years, how hard it is at the beginning.
Yeah.
So even if something is super easy for them and they could do it in their sleep, that's not the way it is when you're just learning, especially for someone like me that was not even technically inclined at all. I didn't even know how to work a tape measure. It's still hard for me to swing a hammer and hit a nail straight because we're plumbers. We don't have to do that much backing, but just being patient, because especially for women too, it's easy to get anxious when you feel like somebody's on your case about not being fast enough, not being good enough, especially when your esteem might not be there in the first place. You need somebody that's going to build your esteem up and help you do that by being patient and providing advice and just being there for you.
I think that's really important, and I love that you said that. And I do want to dive a little bit deeper into that of being a woman in the trades, especially I've got kind of a front row seat here where my office is right outside where we do Total Immersion, and we see one or two women come through every other Total Immersion. And so I do know that it is really a growing market. There's more and more women joining the trades every single day. Can you talk to me a little bit about what were some of the unexpected challenges that you might have come across being a woman in the trade? Well, first off, were there any unexpected challenges? I think we'll start with that one.
I was pretty lucky. I hear a lot of horror stories from other women. Some people, start and then something kind of negative happens to them and they choose to exit the trade because it kind of scared them off.
Yeah.
Nothing like that really happened to me, but, there is a certain level of the old boys club.
Yeah.
Feeling doubted or feeling like an outcast or just not being treated the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still wonder, do I not get sent to a drain clearing job because they want to protect me and keep me clean? Or, is it because they don't think I have the skills? Or, there's always that little question, why is that happening the way it is? Is it because I'm a woman?
Yeah,
I
just
don't
that
know.
little bit of doubt in there?
Yeah. For the most part, though, I've just had incredible people that are very supportive. My family has been very supportive.
That's amazing.
Surprised. But they love it.
Yeah.
I think I think that just the lack of kind of knowing that it's an option for
Really?
us as a woman.
Yeah.
It's not marketed. Like, had someone told me when I was like 10 that I could be a plumber, maybe it would have crossed my mind. My dad's a carpenter, my uncle's an electrician. Like, I never had any interest in what they were doing.
Yeah.
They didn't really like try to share it with me because of those gender roles, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just there's not a lot of programs that are meant to kind of draw women into the trades.
Yeah.
I know we have some good ones in Victoria. I know a lot of beautiful, wonderful people that this is like their job is to like help with the equity and gender diversity.
Yeah.
And inclusion in the trades, and just make it more common and more natural so
For
that
sure.
We have access to this whole market of human beings who are smart and capable and strong, and just not putting labels on people because of their gender or maybe their sexual orientation.
Yeah.
Everybody can be a good team player if they have the right qualities. So
Absolutely. What would you say to, I mean, there could be some women out there who are not in as fortunate of a position. We know that your team is great. We know that your team is amazing and super supportive. I mean, you're here at Total Immersion. That's got to show some level of support, right? That they're sending you to a program like this. But I know that there's a lot of women who aren't as fortunate out there who maybe are having some struggles to push through outside of what you have personally experienced. What would you say to those women who are maybe on the edge of that, or just starting to feel that doubt of, is plumbing really for me? I got into the trades. Is plumbing really for me? Is this something that I should stick with? What would you say to them?
Well, I can tell you that like once you're in, there's a beautiful community of people in the same position who have experienced things. Like I've never had so many friends as I do now being a woman in the trades, because there are like meetups and things like that.
Yeah.
I would just say that it's important to find the voice, and like I think they say everyone should try to be an ally for other people. So you have to be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
So you have to be kind of brave and like try to improve your confidence and not be afraid to speak up and not be afraid to call people out on bad behavior and not be afraid to ask for what you're worth.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. And being able to ask for what you're worth is such a huge dynamic, I think, in general for the trades, where that level of communication between tech and leadership has really broken down recently. What is something that, as a whole, what do you wish leadership kind of across the board in the trades, what do you wish more leadership knew about life out in the field? And what do you kind of wish that they were more helpful with, or there's a level of empathy there that's missing. What do you wish there was more of?
That's a hard question for me because I don't have that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That's awesome.
I mean, I feel like the owner of our company is just really supportive, really empathetic. Like, he's always willing to grab his tools and come help you if you're stuck. And he's always saying, like, don't hesitate to call me.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about this. Let's figure it out.
For sure. I was definitely not trying to ask you to trash on your boss. That's not where I was trying to go.
I just couldn't think of any examples.
No, but that's awesome though. So I think kind of the opposite end of that question that I would love for you to answer is what are a couple of things that the leaders above you are doing really well that you have taken over the years and tried to emulate yourself?
I feel like this question's too deep for me.
Okay.
I'm just like not coming up with anything.
We can move on. Totally fine.
Sorry.
Cool. Awesome. Then, I want to know at the end of the day, when you get home, you wake up the next morning, what is your source of motivation? Is it family? Is it financial reasons? Is it going out there just to do something with your hands? What gets you motivated and out of bed in the morning?
The people and the pets, actually.
Yeah.
That's something a little silly that I say all the time, but it's just so great to get to go and meet people and like learn how to help them best and be invited into their home and kind of become part of the family for a minute and just make those relationships.
For sure.
And make those magic moments because, it does wonders for our need to feel connected as well. So I get that in my job. I get connection with my coworkers and I get connection with the community. So
does that help you week to week prevent burnout? Because I know I talk to a lot of guys about the burnout. Does that help you kind of prevent that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's so easy to go to work. I'll work till 7 p.m. at night if somebody needs me. We don't do emergency on-call plumbing, so I mean, maybe I'm less likely to get burned out.
But I mean, even still, the job day to day, I feel like there's a certain level of, if you don't find that motivation for yourself, there's a drop off that happens real quickly. So it's really good to hear that you have that motivation and that drive and that thing that's keeping you going. We are wrapping up here, and as we close out, I do want you to talk to the people who are out there, the people who are listening to this right now. I especially want you to talk to the people, and maybe specifically the women out there who were in the position that you were in a couple of years ago, where you aren't in the trades yet, but there's maybe a spark of an idea and you're listening to this podcast. What would you say to them as maybe reassurance or what would you say to pull them into the trades?
Yeah. There are a lot of paths that you can take once you get into the trades, and once you start learning the skills, learning the soft skills, the sales skills, maybe starting your own company. There's tons of branches of trades. There's teaching. So, I mean, you don't have to feel like you're going to be stuck doing the same thing forever. There's a lot of opportunity for growth. And I feel like that is inspiring, that, I can keep improving myself and keep getting, heck, maybe another red seal, just start collecting them all like Pokemon, But, yeah, come be in the trades. Come be a leader in the industry. Come help inspire people yourself. Please come be my friend and work with me, and let's get the job done well.
I think that's a great place to transition into. Please tell people about the company that you're with, where you guys based out of, where can they find you, social media, if you have any of that information. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, I mean, I work in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and I mean, if you want to come move to Canada, work with me, we'd love to have you. It's beautiful in the Pacific Northwest there. I personally don't have a ton of social media. I try to stay away from it, but is that what you meant?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that one more time. Okay, I feel like I can say the question a little bit better to kind of to that. Perfect. So I think that's a great way to transition into our closing out right now. Tell people where they can find you, the company that you're with, where are you guys based out of, and if they're in that area, how do they get in contact with you guys to get your services? Yeah,
absolutely. We're in Victoria, beautiful British Columbia, Canada, and we serve the South Vancouver Island area. So it's the clearchoiceplumbing.com if you're interested in having a look at what we offer. We're the Smell Good Plumbers, so we have a cute little tagline to go along with that, a nice little radio jingle.
Nice.
And yeah, give us a call if you'd like to chat more. We're always interested in connecting.
Perfect. Clearchoiceplumbing.com. If you guys are in the British Columbia area, be sure to check them out. If you guys have anything that you need, please go to their website and check them out. They're a great company. But with that, we are going to close it out for this episode of the podcast. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.